Welcome back. So it's still teasing out there. 10,479 is what we've got. That last little push that we are waiting for, that's not quite come through. Nonetheless, it continues to build on momentum. So, you have Cipla, for instance. Some of these pharma stocks weren't doing that well in the, when we started off in the morning. But now it seems that some buying is catching up, even with the pharma names. And then, of course, the likes of Wipro on the move, and SBI continues to hold on to gains of about 2% odd. On the mid-cap side of it, a couple of other names that are now beginning to, get the attention. Allahabad Bank, while we're talking SBI, PSU banks in general are having a great morning, and Allahabad Bank is obviously part of that trend. So there's some more buying on that one, pretty much at the day's high. We mentioned Tata Global before going into the break. Now let's pull out Tata Coffee, because the twins are moving together, it would seem. We've got about 3%, no, 1.5% up move on Tata Coffee as well. So the spike is on both the stocks, and it's evident momentum, no matter where you look at it, Ekta, I guess, it's just momentum all over the place in the mid-cap universe.
Yes, absolutely. It's turning out to be a fabulous week as well as year for the broader markets, and that seems to be the other big story that we're tracking, except for the fact that the Nifty is just about a few points, I think 14 odd points away from that all-time high. Let's see whether we manage that at least in the second half of the trading session. But as of now, we have Manisha joining in to tell us what to track within the commodity and the currency space. Well, Manisha, are you tracking the cryptocurrency space?
For sure, yes. That is one space you just can't let go of, whether it's on the upper side or the lower side. And this week, while of course the overall cryptocurrencies continue to, get their limelight in, the Bitcoin prices definitely have gone in for profit taking. In last 4 days, we have seen prices decline by 25%. But year to date, when you look at the Bitcoin prices, they still are up by 15%. But remember, as we have been talking in the last few days, that there are other cryptocurrencies which really seem to be in the limelight. Litecoin, for example, really seems to be taking in the financial institutions. It is cheaper, it also is more secure, and many banking and financial institutions seem to be liking it. The other one really is Ripple, and this is a blockchain and a technology on its own, and that one really has been running up. If you look at this year, that actually has taken over the Bitcoin prices, and Ripple as of now is trading 1,750% on the higher side in this year as well. And while of course Bitcoin has had its problems, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, you have seen all of those folks coming in, but for Ripple, because of the technology itself, this cryptocurrency seems to be doing well. It is more reliable, there is more speed, there is more security here. So banks and financial institutions outside India, even in the Indian markets for that, are looking at it quite closely. So cryptocurrencies, while one of course isn't doing so well, the other's clearly catching up onto that. But let's talk about the commodity space as well, and let's get strategies in. And Prathamesh Malia from Angel Commodities joins us for that. Prathamesh, hi. What is your sense really when it comes to the currency space to start with? We have seen the rupee prices stabilize. Rupee is up nearly 6% plus this year. Are you looking at similar strength continuing into 2018?
Yes, Manisha, I think the possible stop here would possibly be around 63.5 mark. It's a make or break situation from that on. But we have a whole set of factors from US as well as India that we are going to face in New Year. So I really don't rule out 63.5 and below. But then I am looking at a dollar index strengthening in that sense. So in that possibly towards 100 mark is what we're seeing for 2018. So in that sense, rupee would again be depreciating mark towards 67 also is what we see. But near term, I think the trend remains on the appreciation side, and hence 63.5 looks like a make or break situation.
What is your sense for the metal space? Because while we do understand that today is the last trading day before we hit the Christmas weekend, for LME Tuesday also is shut, and then again we come back and the 1st of Jan again is a holiday. So for metals, essentially for LME traders, this is going to be a very thin volume kind of a period we are getting in. How would you want to put your strategies right now?
I think the trading activity would be very lull, and it's better to avoid any of the metal that's being traded, because you would possibly see a lot of volatility because all the major markets remain shut. So what remains open is just Asian markets. So in that sense, I would avoid metals. But if you want to bet on something, I would possibly bet on crude, or for that matter natural gas, and not on any of the metals. But just for strategy per se, copper would be the pick. I think 460 is what we're looking at in this particular counter.
Very quickly before we let you go, since you said crude is something that you're looking to trade in, what are your price levels there?
I think crude is actually have a good setup technically as well as fundamental factors break into play. In WTI possibly it is moving headed towards 60-62 mark, possibly from a 3-month perspective, and hence I would be a buyer in crude on any dips. But for a near-term strategy, for a couple of trading sessions, I would be at the buy side. 3,700 is what it is currently trading at in the Indian markets. I think it would be, this is the right level, and possibly the higher targets would be around 3,800.
Okay, all right, Manisha as well as Prathamesh, thanks very much for joining in. Well, Manisha, I did mention, you say that Monday, 1st of Jan, the commodity markets would at least be closed.